Welcome to the Long Run. I'm Joel, flying solo today, and today is the next episode in my Nerdy Runner series. And we're going to be talking about a couple of different things today. Number one, I want to talk about the half marathon I ran in celebration in January, the results of that, how I felt about it, what my plans are going forward for those as well. The second thing I want to talk about is my training for this month. Where I'm at in February and where we're headed for the next few months, and maybe a little surprise along the way. And then number three is where I'm headed as far as races go, things I got planned, things I really want to do this year, and we'll see. We'll kind of see where that goes. I'm just not. We'll get to it in a minute. All right, so. I want to begin talking about the half marathon that I ran in celebration. This is the second time I've ran that course. The first time I ran it was when I ran my qualifying time for the Boston Marathon. I ran the full marathon course. They changed it slightly since then, but it's still a really good course. Most of it still covers most of the same areas, but they did tweak it just a little bit. I'm not sure how I felt about that, but it's still a really good course to run. If you're looking for a half marathon or a marathon course that you'd like to get a PR on, or Boston qualifier, or any kind of record like that, this is the one to do it. They run it every year in January. The weather this time was excellent. The time I ran it in for my qualifying time, it was about 35 degrees at the start, and then maybe warmed up to about 50 by the end. This time it was low 60s at the start, and by the time I finished, it was still in the 60s. So really good running day, and really felt good about it. Like I said, I was going in for a half marathon PR, which would have been anything under 1 hour 36 minutes and 25 seconds, which I said at the OUC half marathon a couple years ago, but. And everything started out really good. I thought I had a really good plan to do it. I'd done some training runs beforehand to kind of test my fitness in it. I really felt really good about where I was as far as my training went. The first 4, 5, 6, 7 miles were really good. I was on pace to really set a record. I was on pace for 1 hour and 31 minutes, which was what I was really kind of hoping for, was kind of that. I wanted to run the first 5 miles at 7 minutes per mile, the second 5 miles, and then take a little rest, walk through aid station, get some water, get some hydration, and then start out again, do the next 5 miles at 7 minutes per mile. And then take another little rest, and then finish up strong those last 3 miles, those last 3.1 miles. And so that was my goal going in. The first 5 miles, no problem. Got it in, got it good, and felt really good about where I was headed. Got into the second 5 miles and started out really good, but then about mile 8, I just kind of lost my steam for some reason, and just had to stop and take a couple of rest breaks in between those next 5 miles, and not sure quite what happened. We're going to kind of break it down as we go along, but I got through those next 5 miles, took a little break, and then the last 5 miles just totally out. The last 3.1 miles just totally out of gas. I still have finished with a really good time. I was hour and 39 minutes and some odd seconds. Finished, what did I finish? Third in my age group?
Third in your age group.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And I did finish third in my age group. So I felt really good about that. I just wasn't really pleased with the time, and we're going to kind of break that down now and just kind of talk about why I felt like I didn't get it. Going into it, they always say nothing new on race day, and I didn't have anything new on race day. I had something new-ish on race day, and that was my shoes. I was trying out a new pair of shoes that had just arrived on Tuesday. I had done a couple of training runs in them, felt decently good about them. I wasn't really comfortable with the fit and how they felt on my feet, but I did do a training run in them, felt decently good about them. But I think that may have contributed to why I think there was a little too much cushion in those, and so I really couldn't keep the pace that I wanted to for the certain amount of time that I wanted to do it. I like a little cushioning in my shoes, but I think this was a little too much for me to really get up to speed the way I wanted to. And then by mile 8, I was my legs were totally out of gas. And then by mile 10, they were really out of gas. But anyway, so I kind of felt like if I had tried using an older pair of shoes that I had, I think it would have come out a little better. But that's kind of how it was. I don't want to blame it on the shoes, but I didn't have a lot of training time in those shoes, and I wound up sending those back. They were try before you buy, and wound up sending those back because I didn't feel really comfortable about keeping those in my repertoire when I didn't feel that good about them. So I did send those back, and I got some more. But anyway, that was the first thing, the shoes. The second thing was I don't know if I had trained enough at that speed to really go out that fast. I'd done some training runs at that speed, nothing over 5 miles, but when I did the 5 miles, I really felt good about where I was. I felt like I could have gone longer on my training runs at that speed. So I felt really good about where I was at the time. I think in retrospect, I think if I do try to do this again, I will, I'll train longer distances at that speed and see if I can overcome some of that tiredness in my legs. So the second factor may have been speed. And then I don't want to say there was any, it was a little bit humid that day, but I don't think it was anything worse than what I would normally see in Florida. And so I'm not going to use that, as an excuse, but I did with all that said, I did feel really good about the time that I had. A little disappointed, but still anything under 140 for me is pretty good because I can remember back to the time when I was struggling to break 2 hours in a half marathon. And so still at my advanced age, still chugging around the under 140 mark is pretty good for me. So I feel really good about that. And also it's keeping me on pace for my goal before I turn 60 is to qualify again for Boston. And I want to do that at Celebration in a couple of years, and I want to run. I'm thinking the paces that I'm running now for the half marathon is really making me feel good for keeping my pace at the marathon pace. I want to be somewhere around 7:45, 7:50 minutes per mile for that when I get there. So I've got to hold that for the next couple of years, so I can. So I'll be able to hopefully run a good marathon time at that point. So it's kind of where we are. Coming third in my age group was fantastic. I don't know. I'm starting to do that a lot more at the bigger races. Usually when I was starting out, I couldn't place in the bigger races because there was a lot of faster people than I was. And now I'm starting to, almost every race, I'm getting some kind of age group award. So I'm really excited about that and pleased with that. So I'm not disappointed in my time, maybe just a little bit, but I really felt like I could have done better, but there's always next time, I guess. So the next thing I want to talk about is kind of about my training for the month. I've been, I want to say I've been pulling back, but as I look at my spreadsheets and I look at my Nike Run app, I don't know that I'm pulling back any because I know I did 2,023 miles in 2023. That was my goal. It's not my goal for 2024 unless it just comes organically. And right now, just in the little bit I'm running, I'm still on pace to do that. So I have to average about 169 miles a month to make that happen. And if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I don't want to get, I was thinking about this on my run this morning, but I don't want to get to the end of the year and I'm 3 miles short of 2024. If I'm 50 or 100 miles short, I'm fine with that. But I don't want to be 3 miles short and then feel like I have to run 15 miles on the last day of the year to do it. I don't want to come up 3 miles short. I just don't. So if I'm somewhere in the ballpark, I may go for it. But you never know what the year. It's only February. Never know how the year is going to. Never know how the year is going to play out. So it's kind of where we are. And with that, I'm feeling pretty good about my training. I'm averaging, we're 16 days in, and I've got 91 miles for the month. I'm averaging about 5.5, a little over 5.5 miles per run. And that's now, I say that I'm averaging in the days that I don't do any running. So if you were saying, well, you got 91 miles and you're not running every day, then your average is actually higher than that. And it is. It probably is on my run days. But the way I figure it out is I figure in those days that I don't run, just to make it kind of even out to where that's kind of how I figured it out last year for my projections for running 2,023 miles. So I've kind of kept that the same this year. And so I'm averaging, even with my 0 run days, I'm still averaging about a little over 5.5 miles per day, not per run, but per day for my training for this month. So kind of excited about where that is. I'm still feeling pretty good. There's some days I don't want to get out of bed. There was 3 days this week already that I didn't get up and go. One of them was an automatic rest day, and then the 2 others I just didn't get up and go. So there's still some motivating factors there, and that I need to work on. But other than that, feeling pretty good about that. So where are we headed? Where are we headed for the next for this year, maybe for the next few months or this year? Well, I do still want to try to do a under 20-minute 5K. That's been a goal of mine now, at least for last year, was to do that, and I didn't hit it last year. I'm trying again to do it this year. We'll see. I haven't really ramped up my training for that. The race I want to run is in May, so I don't want to peak too early. There are a lot of 5Ks. I think there's at least once a month between now and May. So I may try to hit one maybe in April and see kind of where my fitness is before May gets here. But that's when I'm going to try to do that. And so that's kind of where we are with that. I think I do still want to see if I can run a PR for a half marathon. I know the Space Coast Marathon comes up later in the year. OUC Marathon, half marathon, where I set my half marathon PR a couple years ago, is in December. So maybe looking at one of those to see if I can still run that under. I want to run under 136 and see if I can get that. And then I still have an outside shot at running 2,024 miles this year. I'll kind of keep you updated on that, but like I said, it's not a goal. It's just kind of a peripheral goal. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't, and we'll deal with the consequences by the end of the year. So, but anyway, if that happens, I'll be excited about that too. But anyway, it's kind of where we are for February. 2 months into the year, and training's going pretty good. Pretty happy about where we are. But drop me some comments below. Let me know where your fitness is going. You've had some fitness goals for this year. As we say in all of our goal videos, it's never too late to set some goals for this year, this month, or this day. however you want to do that. If you're not a runner, maybe you're a walker and you just set some goals for steps every day, that's great. Set those goals and try to see if you can hit those goals every day, every week, every month, every year. And you got me here supporting you in that as well. So drop me those comments below and let me hear those in the comment sections. But I think that's going to do it today. If you want to see some more of my exploits, we're going to put a video right up here that you can click after we say the thing we always say. That's going to do it today for the long run. I'm Joel, flying solo today. And don't forget it's the long run. Give yourself a little grace.